Coming up today, Tesla is finally preparing a brand new €25,000 model. Hyundai presents the Venus and the Earth. Denza arrives in France with a revolutionary car, but we wonder who will buy it. And Toyota is selling a limousine at the price of a Renault Twingo. At Tesla, there's a specialty that has almost become industrial, promising a revolution, building up the hype, then changing course at the last moment. And once again, the old dream of an affordable Tesla is resurfacing. The famous small affordable Tesla everyone is already calling, for lack of a better name, the Model 2. The question this time is whether Tesla is finally for real preparing a €25,000 car. Because new information has arrived today. Yet not long ago, Elon Musk basically swore that a €25,000 Tesla for human drivers wasn't really of much interest. Almost an absurdity, since the future was supposed to be called robotaxi, cybercab, and widespread autonomous driving. All of Tesla seemed focused on this promise of a future without steering wheels or drivers, except that the market has this annoying habit of demanding real certified products that can preferably be sold right away. That's where the story gets interesting, because according to Reuters, which cites several sources familiar with the matter, Tesla is now working on a new entry-level model, distinct from the Model 3 and Model Y. Not a stripped-down version of an existing model, not yet another hastily disguised derivative, but a truly new vehicle, and above all, a vehicle designed in a much more European format. We're talking about a compact SUV about 4.28 meters long, which is 50 centimeters shorter than a Model 3. In other words, Tesla would finally be looking at the market as it is, and not as it dreams it could be. To bring the price down, the technical choices would follow suit, and for once, pragmatism seems to win out over grand eloquence. Still, according to the leaks reported by Reuters, this future Tesla would aim for a price significantly lower than that of the entry-level Model 3, which, as a reminder, is currently listed at around €37,000 out. Well, with a pretty simple formula, a smaller battery, so probably less range, a single electric motor, and above all, a weight kept around 1.5 tons. Production would start in China, with the idea of later expanding to the United States and Europe. Nothing illogical about it, producing where Tesla scaled up manufacturing quickly and aggressively before expanding if demand follows. But they still have to get there because the project would still be at a very early stage of development. Besides, starting production before 2027 seems unlikely at this point. And maybe that's the most revealing point. If Tesla is going back to the idea of a smaller and more affordable model, it's not just out of goodwill or a sudden revelation. It's also because full self-driving still faces major technical and regulatory obstacles in many markets. In other words, the driverless future is being delayed. The cybercab can't fill the gap on its own. And in the meantime, sales of traditional models are showing signs of erosion. So Tesla is doing what all companies eventually do when theory crashes into reality. It comes back down to earth. Hyundai, on the other hand, has just launched another assault on the world's largest electric car market, China. And honestly, that took guts. Because in China today, the electric car market isn't a swimming pool, it's more like an industrial shredder. Yet Hyundai is still going for it, and even more than that, they're officially launching the Ioniq brand there, their premium electric line already known in the West, but with models that have nothing to do with the Ioniq 5 or Ioniq 6 that we know. To make a statement, the manufacturer unveiled two brand new concepts, Venus, a sedan, and Earth, a family SUV. Venus features a very fluid silhouette, almost sculpted in a single motion with a golden finish. It stands out clearly from the Western Ioniq models. The interior focuses on a wraparound cockpit centered on the driver, with a strong emphasis on lighting, materials, and a more spectacular presentation. Earth, on the other hand, takes the opposite approach, that of a robust SUV, almost brutalist, with more defined shapes, a family-friendly seating arrangement, and an interior designed for space, accessibility, and a calmer atmosphere. The biggest difference is the new approach. When products are developed based on a deep understanding of Chinese customers, the group talks about smart driving and smart cabin, In other words, driver assistance and a high-tech cabin, two expectations that have become central in the Chinese market. Because China's EV market is a battlefield where foreign brands are often treated like guests who arrived late to their own dinner. But that's exactly why this move is interesting. Hyundai isn't afraid of anything anymore because it probably no longer has the luxury of being afraid. It has to reinvent itself where the competition is the fiercest, the fastest, and the most ruthlessly technological. Then there are cars that arrive on the market by politely knocking at the door, and then there's the Denza Z9 GT, which lands in France like a billionaire in a tuxedo walking into a private party without an invitation. To launch its premium brand in France, BYD is betting on a huge shooting brake over 5.18 meters long, packed with technology, loaded with power, and priced at over 100,000 euros. So the question isn't whether the Denza Z9 GT has qualities. It has plenty. The real question is much harsher. Who is going to buy it? On paper, this car has all the makings of a power move. It's the first Denza model officially launched on our market, and it's not here just to make an appearance. The Z9 GT comes in two versions, plug-in hybrid and 100% electric. In the first case, the power is already ridiculously generous, 776 horsepower and 1,075 Nm of torque. As a result, 0 to 100 in 3.6 seconds, a top speed of 260 km/h, and a battery capable of delivering 203 km of range in electric mode. And then there's the electric version. Here, we leave the realm of reason. A front motor with 313 horsepower, two rear motors, with 422 horsepower each for a total of 1,156 horsepower and 1,200 Nm of torque. The Z9 GT EV claims 2.7 seconds from 0 to 100, a top speed of 270 km/h, and a 122 kW battery for 600 km of WLTP range. The most frustrating part for competitors is that the firepower doesn't stop there. The brand highlights ultra-fast charging up to 1,500 kWh on DC with an astonishing promise, going from 10 to 97% in 9 minutes. You'll just need compatible charging stations, especially the ones BYD is planning. Inside, the Z9 GT is all about unapologetic showmanship. Leather, wood, a 17-inch central screen, two other 13-inch displays, a 50-inch augmented reality head-up display, connected services, a voice assistant powered by artificial intelligence, and a DV-lit sound system with 20 speakers and 2,000 watts, 4-zone climate control, a refrigerator in the armrest, heated, ventilated, and massaging seats, in the front as well as the back, with even leg rests for the rear passengers. And as if that wasn't enough, the car adds carbon ceramic brakes, air suspension, and rear wheel steering. So once again, who is going to buy it? Because the problem with the Z9 GT is neither its technical specs, nor its equipment, nor its boldness. The problem is its name, or rather, its lack of history in Europe. At 105,000 euros for the plug-in hybrid and around 115,000 euros for the electric version, the Denza isn't targeting customers who only compare batteries and performance times. It's competing with Porsche, Mercedes, and the big executive sedans, where you're selling a badge as much as a car. So what do you think of this Denza? Let me know in the comments. And finally, Toyota is having huge success with a large electric sedan over 5 meters long, packed with technology and loaded with screens, all for 18,000 euros. On paper, you might think it's a typo because the BZ7 doesn't look like a cheap model cobbled together between two crisis meetings. Actually, this is what Toyota claims is its best work. When it comes to electric vehicles, its designers even claim that it has a higher level of intelligence than any other Toyota model offered in the world. But obviously at this price, it's only sold in China. Yet this BZ7 is packed with technology with a LiDAR, 27 sensors. On board, there's a 15-inch central screen, an 8-inch instrument cluster, and a 27-inch head-up display, a dual-chamber air suspension designed to give passengers that very special feeling of being carried on a cloud. But it never will be. That said, according to reports, the formula works because the BZ7 recorded 3,100 firm orders in the very first hour of sales. It must be said that the price-to-features ratio is almost indecent. The BZ7 is offered between 18,000 and 25,000 euros, depending on the version. On the technical side, Toyota announces a 281 horsepower engine, 2 LFP batteries to choose from, 71 kWh or 88 kWh for ranges of 600 and 700 kilometers according to the CLTC cycle. Toyota also claims 300 kilometers of range, added in 10 minutes under optimal fast charging conditions. And this is where this car becomes almost frustrating for the rest of the world, because it shows what Toyota can do when it decides to play seriously in the right place, with the right partners, and especially with an aggressive pricing policy. The idea that it could arrive here tomorrow at the same price is pure fantasy for now. Taxes, regulations, cost structures, industrial strategies, all of that would very quickly turn this good BZ7 priced like a Twingo into a much steeper bill. And before we finish this video, you might be paying 480 euros more per year for your car insurance than you actually need to. What's surprising is that in France, more than 1 out of 2 drivers never change their insurance. Not by choice, but because it's often complicated, comparing offers, filling out forms, making endless phone calls. As a result, many keep paying full price when they could save up to 40 euros per month. So we thought we should simplify all this with our free car insurance comparison tool. In 2 minutes, you get the best offers with no commitment, no spam, and sometimes more than 40 euros in savings each month. That's over 450 euros in savings per year. That's enough for a few tanks of gas or a nice little weekend road trip. So if you have a car, or if you're thinking of replacing it, try it now. It's free, fast, and if you find a better offer, it's all upside. You'll find the link to our free no-obligation comparison tool in the description or in the first pinned comment. Thank you all for watching this new video. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss anything. Bye.